How's it going, everybody? This podcast is brought to you by RYYZN Make Life Workout, a health, self-development, and lifestyle platform building a passionate community of knowledge seekers, creative dreamers, and future leaders.
For details on the latest RYYZN event that will feature expert speakers in the field of self-development and growth, check out www.ryz-workout.com.
That's www.ryz-workout.com. Enjoy the show. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the High Frequency Club podcast. My name is Marwin Salerio.
And I'm Sinead Bierman. We're here talking all things self-development, growth, and mindset.
This episode is our 50th episode, and we are doing a Q&A.
And before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple.
Enjoy the show. Oh man, it has been a hot minute since we've done an episode just by ourselves, eh?
It sure has, yeah.
And we thought it was appropriate to do one with just us, because it is our 50th episode.
Yeah.
Which is a huge deal since kicking this off in 2020, right?
Yeah, late 2020.
Yeah, awesome. So today's episode is going to be Q&A. So thank you to everyone that has pushed in some questions. So we've got some questions, obviously, when we ask for them, and then some common questions that clients or friends and peers ask us. So I reckon let's just punch straight into it, eh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. So the first one is, what's your biggest takeaways over the 50 eps? Did you want to go first?
Kind of two things. One is that everyone has a story. Because I think a lot of the times when we reach out to people and ask them to come on the show, they usually say, "Oh, me? Why me? Like, what have I got to talk about?" And usually they have a lot to talk about and a lot of takeaways, a lot of valuable knowledge and learnings that they've had over their time. And two, that I guess in linking in with that everyone gets a little bit nervous, because so often we've been nervous to ask a particular guest on the show, and yet that person's been nervous to agree to come on the show, and yet we're like, "You're so-and-so, what do you mean you're nervous?" Or you're saying, "Why me?" type thing. So that's been my biggest takeaway, that no matter how experienced someone might be or how you might see them as this big deal, they sort of are still human, they still get nervous, and they still sort of question what value they can bring to the table.
Yeah, I think a big part, just expanding on what you said, is humanizing our guests. You know, because like us, we've had many role models, people who, we look up to come onto the show, and we've been like, fuck yeah, we get an hour of this person's time, whether we had the camera or not. We would have loved to talk to this person anyway. This just has provided that vehicle to be able to do that. The power of conversation and connection for me has just reaffirmed how powerful that is, and how much it is so important for us as humans and social beings. But for me, the biggest takeaway has been, if you have an idea, just get it started. Figure it out along the way, because it would have been very easy to been paralyzed by analysis of, we need to do this, we need to tick this off, we need to do this and that before actually getting started. But for us, we just had the idea, brainstormed for one session, bought the equipment, and just got started and figured it out along the way, right? That's been my biggest takeaway. Just take the action and be okay that you don't know it all. And the problems will arise, and just get to those bridges and cross them when you need them, Yeah,
and I think a lot of our guests have shared similar things in regards to either their business or their work or something, is just do it, get started, and learn as you go.
Yeah, you don't have to know it all to get started, right? There's that quote, it's like, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great.
Cliche, but true.
So true. Next question. Can you lose weight without counting calories? Do you want to go first? This is a big topic, especially in your field of a health coach at the moment.
Yep.
So let's just look at this question objectively.
Yeah. Well, I just say, yes, there's healthy and not so healthy ways to do that. First of all, I'd ask, why are you wanting to lose weight in the first place? Like, if you are someone that's, overweight, or your doctor's told you, you need to lose weight, otherwise you're at risk of X, Y, Z, then fair enough. But if you're someone that is kind of just driven by aesthetic goals, and you want to be leaner when you're already at a relatively healthy weight, I would look into that a little bit deeper and question why you really want to be losing weight in the first place.
Well, a lot of people don't know whether, am I a healthy weight? Am I, people want to lose weight because of some external ideal that they've seen.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I want to be like this person.
Yeah.
I admire them. I like the look of their body.
Yeah.
So how do you know whether you're a healthy weight or not? Like, is that...
I mean, usually the rough guide is BMI, but that's not always that accurate, because obviously someone that, like those physique bodybuilders that are like, can be short but like huge, quite wide, they're going to have a higher BMI and technically be overweight when really they're a fit person.
Yeah, right,
so, I mean, unless someone's probably having health-related issues that are linked to their weight, then yeah, for a lot, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to maybe lose a few kilos and be a bit, feel leaner, but yeah, I think it's just coming back to the why as to why you're wanting to do that.
Yeah. A big thing that I talk to my clients, like for example, we're in a consultation and then they'll say their goals. Let's say that their goal is, I want to lose 5 kgs. And then my next question is, okay, if I was a fitness wizard and I could give you your goals right here, right now, you've achieved it, you lost 5 kgs, what do you think's going to happen? What happens to you? Yeah. Let's say I gave this to you right now. And then they dig a little bit deeper and they're like, well, I think I'll be more confident. I think I'll be more happy. I think I'll be fit. I think I'll be able to keep up with my children.
But this is the thing, I think for a lot of people it doesn't do that. I think so often you lose 5 kilos and you want to lose 5 more and it just keeps going and you can become obsessed. Not everyone.
I agree. I agree.
For a lot of people, because when you've got that, when you're goal driven versus just process driven, like you're just enjoying the process of being fit and being healthy versus like can't wait to lose 5 kilos. So as soon as you lose that, it's like, okay, what's the next goal? And naturally, it's the same with money. If it's like someone's like, I want to earn 100k a year, you're earning that, then you're like, okay, well, I want to earn 150k. I want to earn 200k. Like you're kind of almost never satisfied. And I guess it's speaking from my experience, but other people's experiences as well that I've seen is that like you're not. You think you will be happier and more confident when you lose that certain weight, but I remember getting to that weight and still being like, no, I'm not even that lean. I need to lose another 5.
And that's what I mean. That's exactly what I was
snowballing.
Getting at. That's what I was getting at. What I was saying was that if I was the fitness wizard and I gave you all your goals right now, you achieved all of them, and you say that by achieving your goals it represents happiness, confidence, being able to keep up with your children, for example, we can just do that shit right now.
Yeah.
Let's just focus on, the things that make you happy, the things that make you confident. Yeah. Let's just focus on that right now. And let's just say the 5 kgs will just be a byproduct. Yeah. That's the shit that we can't control. But let's just do the small things from now that represents happiness for you, building your confidence.
Yeah.
That will help you keep up with your kids. You coming to this consultation, does that represent? Of course. Yeah. It's one action better than what you were doing yesterday. Boom. All of a sudden, you can actually achieve all of that shit. It's just people think so far ahead that it's out external, that the achievement of their goals is external. Actually, it's in the micro moments, because it's the micro moments accumulating that gets you to your goals. You know what I mean? Anyway, we need to go back to the question. Can you lose weight without counting calories?
Yes.
Yes, you can. So what ways can you lose weight without counting calories? I've got one. You cut out a food group, which I've done before in my bodybuilding days. I cut out carbs.
Which I wouldn't recommend that, because I don't think that's the healthy way to go
do
about
you want to preface?
Okay, well, I said that before. There's healthy ways of doing it and there's unhealthy ways. So that is an option, but I would say that is an unhealthy way.
Yeah, so cutting out a food group is like cutting out, proteins, carbs or fats. Obviously, by cutting out a food group, you are in a deficit, a calorie deficit. Ultimately, to lose fat, you've got to be in a calorie deficit.
Yes.
So these are ways to get you into a calorie deficit.
So whereas things like portion control,
that's another one.
Fasting,
that's the next one. Yeah.
I think, again, they can still be unhealthy or become problematic for someone, but they would be slightly more healthier.
Yeah. So the second one that we've got down is portion control. So eating exactly what you're currently eating and just halving the portion or whatever, or cutting a quarter out.
Yeah.
Again, that's just counting. Cutting the calories.
Yeah.
The next one's fasting. So that is for
reducing your eating window. Yeah.
That's it. So most people, what is it? The tradition was 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating, right?
Yep.
And most people, they just skip breakfast.
Yep.
That's usually the process for people. The next one is increased NEAT.
Yeah.
Did you want to go down on that?
So that's about
what does NEAT stand for? Health coach Shanae.
That's a good question.
Non-exercise activity
thermogenesis.
That's it. What does that mean?
So it's just the activity you're doing throughout the day. So that might be parking your car a little bit further, so you're having to walk that little bit further, or getting off the bus stop before to have to walk a bit further, taking the stairs instead of the lift. It's just trying to increase the amount of movement day to day that isn't specific, like I'm going to go train or I'm going to go to the gym. It's the non-exercise activity.
Yeah, I think a super easy way to increase your NEAT is, especially if you enjoy listening to podcasts, go for a walk and listen to it. Another one obviously is what I like to do with a lot of my clients, because a lot of people like going for Sunday brunch. I'm like, increase your social connection with that person by parking further away from your brunch spot. Go for a walk, just talking while you're walking, have your brunch, and then you have to walk back to your car,
Yeah.
So not only are you increasing NEAT, but you're increasing the quality time with the person.
Yeah.
There's studies show that you connect so much more with people when you're walking with them side by side. Cool. Number 5 is buying a meal plan off a nutritionist. So usually when you buy a plan off a nutritionist, the calories are already counted and the macros are already adjusted, and you don't have to count the calories obviously for yourself. You just do what you're told.
You just follow it.
Yeah. And number 6, which we absolutely do not recommend, is do drugs, because it's true. You can lose weight doing drugs. Like you hear about that all the time, right? People who are taking drugs, they don't eat because it suppresses their appetite. Coffee is a drug. Yeah. We're not just talking about meth and cocaine. Coffee is a drug, and it suppresses your appetite. You know what I mean? But obviously, don't do that. We don't.
Well, I was just, when I'd said that to you, that was more of a giving an example that there are healthy ways to lose weight and there are unhealthy ways.
And you preface that. Yeah. What I was doing was that we were objectively attacking the question of, can you lose weight without counting calories? Yes. Objectively answering that question, and yes.
Yeah.
Right?
I just didn't want it to get misconstrued and people be like, oh, Marwan suggests doing drugs to help lose weight.
No. Don't you, whoever's listening to this, don't you try and make a short little clip and fucking try Johnny Depp me. Defamation. Anyway, so how I work with my clients, none of my clients count calories. My clients either have hired a qualified nutritionist who has the skills and the abilities to create them a meal plan, or a lot of my clients are high performers. Like their day-to-day is already so busy. Counting calories is just another fucking added stress. It's just like, shit, that's another added friction towards bettering my health. Fuck it. You know what I mean? So instead, I propose the question, hey, what do you need to eat or fuel yourself for optimal performance? Not just in the training room,
but during the day.
But during the day at work. What do you need to eat to make sure that you start off your day clear-headed, ready to attack, feeling on, feeling energized? What do you need to eat to avoid that afternoon crash? For example, for me, if I eat a fuckload of rice, like something starchy, carby, in the afternoon, I crash, man. Food comas, right? Like, fucking, love it. Veggie korma, baby. But that puts me to sleep. Something that heavy. Yeah. So maybe sometimes a salad, or maybe just half of a half portion control of a carbohydrate, maybe.
And like you said, then that can be looking at what you've got on for the day. So like if you were, out for lunch during work, it's sort of keeping that in mind of like, I've still got a full afternoon to get through. What's going to help keep me going through that afternoon? Is a burger and chips going to be what's most optimal, or is, a poke bowl or something? Yeah. And it's not saying that you can't not have the burger, but it's just, if you ask yourself that question, I think you're naturally going to be making better food choices.
Absolutely.
And then come the weekend, when you might not have anything on Saturday, it's a leisure day, that's when you are like, I'm going out for brunch. You know what? I'm going to get the pancakes, because it's like, I can go home and chill afterwards. I don't need to, be on or whatever.
Well, peak performance looks different for me on a Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And I can have a burger or whatever. So I think it's just sort of,
It's such a balanced approach. And what I also love about proposing that question is that it builds self-awareness. You start to think about, am I satiated? Am I overfull?
Yeah. You're more in tune with yourself.
Yeah, what does my body need? What time do I need to eat?
Yeah.
In order for me to perform well in training or before a meeting.
And you learn more about what that is for you, because that's going to be different for everyone, and you'll feel those days where you do make a certain food choice, and then that afternoon you are feeling a bit sluggish or crap, and you think, maybe I shouldn't have had that for lunch, and then so for the next time, okay, the day I had that for lunch, I felt pretty shithouse. So today I'm going to make sure I have whatever else that makes me feel good. So
and the first stage of you answering that question is always just trial and error, right?
Yeah.
It's trial and error. And then through time, you actually find staple meals, you know?
Yeah, your go-tos.
Yeah, your go-to meals.
Things that you know make you feel good. Yeah.
Awesome. Next question. I want to start strength training. Where do I start? I've never done it before. Great question. For me, if you've never done strength training and you want to start, welcome. It is, in my opinion, the best process to tick off so much performance benefits. You can get stronger, faster, fitter. That's in a physical performance sense. You just feel more mentally clear. I think strength training is proof that you can do hard things, especially if you're progressively overloading. This week you did 10 kgs, next week you're doing time. You're like, fuck yeah. You're increasing your threshold to handle more stress.
And it's sort of, I don't know about using this word, but it's functional really. Most of the time it's functional for life in regards to as you get older, you know, working movement patterns like the hinge and a squat, push, pull, row, all those things are going to be functional as you age with picking things up off the floor or picking up grandkids or whatever it might be. So
fuck yeah. The deadlift is a hinge movement, picking something heavy off the ground. And I've got one client who's she's like, I want to get stronger in the deadlift because it represents me holding shopping bags.
Yeah.
I don't need my son. And for her, she was like, I picked up a bag of rice from the floor at Pack and Save and put it in the trolley myself. I've never been able to do that.
Yeah,
I was like,
so
that is so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's so fucking awesome.
And little things like moving furniture or whatever without, you know, worried that you're going to hurt yourself. Like on when I was coming back from Oz, I knew my suitcase was just over 20 kilos. My mum went to pull it out and I was like, no, mum, like, let me do that. I don't want you to like hurt your back. She's like, I had to get it in there, but I was still like, I know that you're not regularly lifting that kind of weight and therefore a sporadic 20 kilo lift would be enough for you to hurt yourself. So, whereas if you're lifting that regularly, then having to do something like that isn't a big deal.
Yeah, I've got actually it's the same client. She walked up the stairs where Rocky was filmed, where Rocky's running up, and that's a lunge.
Yeah.
And she got all the way to the top and she was like, woo, as if she was Rocky. She was like, I couldn't believe I did it.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah, all those walking lunges, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So that's what you mean by functional, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's got to cross over to day-to-day life.
Yes. Cool, so where do you start? You've never done it before. One is hire a PT. Hire a PT because it takes the guesswork out of it. You know? And the less guesswork it is, the less friction. It's easier to get into, right? Number 2 is go with a friend. Obviously a friend who's already doing it.
Yeah, or knows what they're doing,
Yeah, because that, again, takes the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of why people don't want to go into the gym floor is because, yes, they lack the knowledge and the awareness, and that creates the insecurity.
Yeah, and intimidating.
Yeah, it is intimidating.
Because you kind of don't know, even just as someone that goes to the gym regularly, when you go to a new gym, it's a bit like, oh shit, because you don't know where anything is. So at least if you're going with a friend that trains at that particular gym and can show you where all the machine is or where the lifting platform is, can kind of show you where everything is and what to do.
Yeah. This one was your suggestion.
Oh yeah, YouTube or Google. I'm sure you could Google a pretty basic strength program, and YouTube at least there'd be videos as well explaining how to do a particular exercise. A great one is Citizen Athletics.
There's just so much.
There is so many out there, but that's where
Citizen Athletics is very, very good. Dr. Sam Spinelli, I introduced you to him, didn't I? Just jokes. Did you want to tell people who that is and why?
He's just a very good clinician, good at what he does, very evidence-based, and sort of cuts through the crap that's out there, and is sort of the opposite of some of them out there that can be quite put a lot of fear into people by saying, oh, deadlifts are bad for your back, or blah, blah, blah. Like he explains, what to do if you are injured or in pain and how to modify exercises. So he's a great resource. And in addition to that would be an app. There would be a lot of apps out there, I'm sure, as well, that have similar features. But I guess my number 1 would just be going to a group fit class, in particular body pump, if you're wanting to get into strength training and had no idea, because again, pump is, you're going through a lot of those common movement patterns, but a lot less weight and more repetition. So you're getting probably a greater feel for that movement before, getting onto the gym floor and lifting a little bit heavier. Because obviously for most people, a gym barbell is going to be 20 kilos for men, 15 for females. So at least if you're getting...
And how do you know that? Like if you're a newbie, how do you know?
And then people are like, there's the barbell, you pick it up and you think, shit, this is heavy. Whereas at least if you're, like I said, sort of building up to that in a group fit class, you're going to have a bit more of a feel for those movements, a basic understanding at least.
Yeah, and the high repetitions are important because that's what builds that neuroplasticity, right? That builds that connection towards the mind to muscle. Even with a new client for me, we always start high reps, you know, because you've got to... The more repetition you do something, the more efficient, more easier, more hardwired that movement becomes.
Yeah, and with a group fit class, you can always go up and ask the instructor and say, hey, I'm new to this, and they can help go through some of those exercises or, you know, give you feedback afterwards. So it's a way of getting feedback on those movements as well.
And the other thing is that it eliminates barriers into fitness because the music is fucking good.
And you're with a group of other people.
Yeah, it feels like a party in there. Everyone's on the same vibe, you know. And you can go with friends or a group of people. You can even meet new motherfucking friends there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else to add?
Nope, that was
good to go. All right. I find myself going to the gym consistently for a month and then something happens and I stop going for 2 months, then pick it up again. How do you stay motivated to be consistent? I would say first, because of the sporadic intensities, do you even enjoy going to the gym? Is that something that you even want to do? Is that an activity that you enjoy doing?
Or do you have a strong enough why? Is your why because you do just want to get lean or have a six-pack and you go to the gym once and you're like, oh, I don't have a six-pack. You know, and you sort of, that's why you're losing your I guess, motivation.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if you've got a bigger why, like you're doing it because you want to feel good. Like as simple as that sounds, but if you generally do it because you want to feel good and you know you feel good, it might not be from the gym, it might be running, it might be swimming, it might be walking your dog, whatever movement that makes you feel good, you're so much more likely to stick at it and do it regularly because you wake up and you think, it's not like, oh, I can't be bothered going to the gym today. It's like, I want to feel good. So you go and do whatever that activity is that makes you feel good. And it means you're going to have a better relationship because there might be days where you are like, you know, I'm feeling a bit burnt out from work. If I go to an intense session, I'm probably not going to feel good. I might feel better just going for a walk today to clear my head. Yeah. So
it's the two things, right? One, do you even enjoy going to the gym? Like maybe there's another activity that you're better off doing that you would enjoy and do often. Yeah. But if it is that you do enjoy going to the gym, maybe it's the dosage. You're going too much. You're going too much to the point where it's too much. Yeah. Like the variety isn't there. Yeah. I know firsthand as a PT for the last 6 years, you can get results in one session. You can get results in 2 sessions. You don't have to be at the gym every single day to get results.
Depends on what results you're after though.
Of course. Yeah, for sure. But my thing is, if you do enjoy going to the gym, maybe it's just about getting variety into your movement. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. That comes down back to your why again. If your why is to have fun, then you're naturally going to want more variety because doing the same shit day in, day out is going to get pretty fucking boring.
I could not go to the gym every day.
So that's why when I see people like on the Stairmaster every day and they're like, yeah, I love it. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm always like, do you love it or are you just doing it because you think you need to be on the Stairmaster? Because, I think if you're doing it because you want to feel good, you want to have fun, then you're naturally going to want variety, and that's why you might not necessarily just be going to one gym. You might be going to, doing a Pilates on this day, going to yoga on this day, doing a boxing class on this day because you want that mix up in your week and keeps it fresh, working out with different people. But my biggest thing is, your why is be clear on that.
Mine is variety.
Yeah.
Having the variety. Cool. With so much happening with the world, it's been so easy to be weighed down by it all. Any tips to help manage this feeling of hopelessness? Because it sometimes feel like I can't do anything about it.
Feels. I think when you feel like that, it's sort of trying to have a break from wherever you're consuming information that's making you feel weighed down about the world. Like, so hopefully you don't watch TV, but if it's from watching the news or just from social media, I think it's having a bit of a break from that. And yes, you might not be able to do anything about the state of the world, but I think you can do something about the state of yourself. So it'll just be then prioritising things that do make you feel a bit more grounded, a bit more at ease. So whether that is just going to the beach, getting out in nature, reading a book, something like, reading a book at night instead of scrolling social media. Like, I think that just completely can change your state before going to sleep. We've been talking about that with reading, particularly reading fiction, like a story before you go to bed. I find it just puts you straight into dreamland versus going to bed thinking about, oh, I need to do this tomorrow and I've got that on, and sort of stressing about other things. So
yeah, I think so much help manage this feeling of hopelessness. So obviously your dosage of the content you are consuming is already too much, because someone already feels hopeless. That is a clear indication that you're consuming too much of that type of content. So ask yourself, what dose is healthy for you? Because obviously you still want to be informed in a sense.
Yeah.
So just find what that is for you. For me, I don't watch any news at all. I don't follow any of the media outlets because other people around me do, and they keep me informed, to be honest.
They reshare stuff,
and they just let me know what's going on with the world.
Yeah.
And for me, that helps because I just feel detached from all of that. And I focus, I'm really good at focusing on what I can control and what I can't control.
Yeah.
And with that, in a practical sense, is really understanding what my values are. You know, my values are, did I contribute? Did I create? Did I learn? Did I have fun? And was I present? And that doesn't always necessarily mean consuming the world's problems and making it my problem, you know?
Yeah.
So that helps, even with the whole lockdown and stuff, and that stuff just naturally already weighed me down when the lockdowns and stuff were happening, that I didn't need to consume what the left or what the right was saying, or what the new story is today, because I was already adding on top the inevitable pressure that was already on top of me. So that's, And I allowed people to share this stuff with me, and I put myself in a position where I could empathize, sympathize, understand, but also knew that that isn't my problem.
Yeah. And I think, just touching back on when you said about the dosage of the content you're consuming, I think as well, it's okay to, if you just need a period, muting certain pages or certain people you follow that might be oversharing a lot of content, and you might not necessarily want to completely unfollow people, but just mute for a while and just sort of reduce the amount you're consuming. Because I know sometimes I might follow too many pages about a certain topic, and then it feels like I'm getting bombarded by that particular topic all the time because I've just followed 10 pages that are all sharing similar stuff on that topic. And so I go through a phase where I'm like, okay, well, I can maybe just have 2 pages about that topic. I don't need to be hearing about it too much.
Yeah. What's extremely dangerous is when people start to attach the identity to the ideas, because then that means that you're not willing to hear other people out.
Yeah.
You're not willing to hear another side of the story. You are willing to defend.
Yeah, and that's becoming more and more common. I've been having a few conversations with people about that lately, of trying to stay balanced. I think we're in a world now where if someone doesn't agree with you, it's like, oh, unfollow, block, whatever. You just sort of versus being able to have an open conversation about, well, why do you see this differently to what I do, and sort of broadening your perspective by just having a conversation about oh, interesting, you think this, I think that, and coming at it from a place of there's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just you have a different perspective, I have a different perspective, wherever you come to your conclusion, and going from there. But yeah,
I think something that helps me understand people is that putting myself in their shoes by telling myself that this person comes with their own set of experiences and memories, and if I had the same set of experience and memories, I would
probably
think the same.
do the same. Yeah,
and that helps me, put myself in their shoes and accept it for what it is. But it's not always, I get it. I'm not trying to be a fucking guru here. I have good days and bad days about that.
Yeah.
But it's always important to come back to that.
Yeah.
Next up, do you think there's much opportunity in New Zealand? I think that's relative. I think that's super relative. Depends on what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
For example, I have a client and his housemates are from China, and they've got great jobs here. They get paid really, really well. They're 22 years old, over 100K, get paid really well. And what they said, and he shared this with me, was that if we were in China with this exact same job, we would be 40 to 50% pay cut, just because it's so competitive over there. It's so competitive that what is seen as a really good high-paying job here in New Zealand is actually not that high up. And the reason being is because there's just so many people, the culture is different, and competition is fierce as fuck. So based on that perspective, do you think there's much opportunity here in New Zealand? I think there's a huge opportunity, especially if you're very skilled and very talented, to be a big fish in a small pond here in New Zealand. And that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I think, like you said, it's relative in regards to what you mean by opportunity. Like you said, if it's in regards to work or career options, I guess depending on what field you're in, yes, you have the opportunity to be a big fish in a small pond here, which can be great for a lot of people. If it might be more, not necessarily work related, but more in regards to things to see and do, you might feel that there's more opportunities for travelling around or seeing more or doing more elsewhere. So I think, like you said, it's sort of...
where does your opportunity lie? What is an opportunity for you?
Yeah, because like you said, for those people that you, your clients' friends, that they're getting paid heaps more here, therefore it's a bigger opportunity in New Zealand, yes, to make more money, but in regards to quality of life or family, friends, they might have been like, oh, actually I preferred my culture and being close to my family and my other friends back home in China, so that's where it's they might... But if they're seeing yes, there's more opportunity, RE work and RE better pay, then yes, New Zealand, 100%. But so that's why I just think it comes down to what someone sees as opportunity. Someone might just want to travel and therefore being based in London where they can travel Europe and go to Italy or Spain or wherever on a weekend, they might see that's more opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Next one. What's the biggest health and fitness thing / trend you've fallen for / dabbled in? I'm not too sure what this question, the outcome is trying to...
I think it's just things that you've... Like a trend you've fallen for that then afterwards you were like, oh, it maybe wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Oh, that's how I've interpreted it anyway.
Oh, okay. If that's the case, then for me it was, I guess... identifying with the process of bodybuilding. That was a big deal. I lived that lifestyle, and I thought this is the best way to train. This is what healthy represents. Because you're lean, you're muscular, you look the part. Yeah. And at the time, I didn't even think about mental health. I didn't even think about other people who didn't want to go through that. But I didn't think about people who were working 50 hours a week. Yeah. That couldn't get into the gym 5 times, let alone twice. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even when I started personal training, I was like, yo, I'm a bodybuilding. Like the clients that I had at the time, I was like, yep, chest day, leg day, back day. Yeah. And I'm contrary to that now. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I probably, when I was initially in Les Mills, I probably had that outlook where Les Mills was the be all and end all. I was like, what do you mean you don't do Les Mills type thing? Don't do group fit. So I think definitely over the years I've changed my thing where I'm like, oh cool, group fit is just one way of moving your body and exercising, that there's more, you can get that same kick. For some people it's for F45, other people it's a boxing gym, whatever. There's other ways to move your body and have fun doing it, whereas I think for a long time I was like, Les Mills is the only way to do that.
Yeah, I think the theme that we're talking about here is that there are more ways than one to get fit and be healthy. Yeah. And in the past, it sounds like for the both of us, we thought this was the way. Yeah. And now there's actually health and fitness is so much more nuanced than that, and there's so many other processes that fits into other people's routines, rhythms, and preferences, which are just as valid as long as it gets people moving and helps them enjoy and engage life. Yeah. Thoughts on the current state of the health and fitness industry? Obviously, these are just our opinions, right? For me, based on what I already said before, I came from a bodybuilding, thought pattern to where I am now. I think it's going great. There's so much more people that I'm seeing, the accounts that I follow anyway, the content that I consume, is there's so many more advocates for, deleting the barriers for people to get into movement. There's so much more understanding I see in the health and fitness industry, that there's so much more welcoming arms and telling people that hey, you should have your own metrics of success. And even though these are strength training experts, are like, if you love running, go running. If you love boxing, do boxing. Yeah. The main thing is that I use strength training as a process, but also at the same time, the outcome that I want is that you move and help you engage and live your life better, whatever that might look like. And I'm enjoying that. And also the big talks on stress management and rest, all super important parts of life, not just the training. Yeah. So, and that is just the accounts that I follow. That's content that I choose to consume.
That's what I was going to say, is I think depending on what accounts you follow, you can think definitely like, the health and fitness industry is getting better and we're less aesthetic focused and there's more people that are sort of saying as long as you're moving your body and having fun, awesome. But I think because I don't follow a lot of accounts that promote otherwise, which I think there still are a lot of accounts out there that do just promote like, follow this meal plan, follow this exercise routine. Too bad if you don't love it. Like, this is what you need to do in order to look this way or whatever. So I think it's probably better in regards to, the accounts and people out there that are helping to remove barriers of getting people moving. But then I think there's still just as much that probably still are holding on to their ideal of what health and fitness is and trying to promote that this is how you have to be healthy and fit is by doing X, Y, Z, which isn't always the case. So
I'm optimistic in the sense that, the truth will always prevail.
Oh, yeah, definitely, eventually, yeah.
But you're right, I think there were times where I followed those types and it just pissed me off.
Yeah, that's why I don't, because it does. It just it triggers me because I'm like, oh, fuck, you're just like creating more barriers to get people moving, which already, not enough people are moving regularly. And by you saying like, oh, you have to do it this way, you have to do it that way, and you have to have, full range before you can even attempt to lift a barbell, and that just makes it so much harder than it needs to be.
It's fear-mongering, eh?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It instills fear into people and that, oh shit, I'm going to hurt myself if I do this exercise without this type of mobility or whatever. So
just get moving.
Just get moving.
Yeah, I think, just back to the range of motion, because that's a big thing that I do see. And I do see, like, you've got to lift with full range of motion first. Yeah. Before you load the bar. And you're like, well, the only way to get full range of motion is to actually work it.
Yeah.
Through
load.
Through load,
you get full range,
Yeah, it's just show up every day in, day out. Not doing the same exercise, but
yeah. And for a lot of people, that'll help them. Like if they're not getting that depth in their squat, sometimes adding load is what they need to help push them into that full range.
Yeah, having that external pressure on top. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Shit, you could go up, you could carry on with these type of chats.
Oh yeah,
get fired up. All right, let's move on before Sinead blows up. Have you ever found yourself in a sad slump? If so, how did you get out?
Yep, I think many a time, and I think the way I get out is usually reflecting on what I was doing when I wasn't in a sad slump, because so often when I'm in a sad slump, I'm not prioritising those things that I normally do that make me feel good. So whether that's catching up with friends, getting outside, podcast, reading, whatever it might be, it's usually I've gone a period of like those things have sort of fallen by the wayside and other things have got more overwhelming, so it's just sort of prioritising them again, which is why I think it's key to always be, like to always journal and things like that in the good times and the not so good times, so that you do have something to look back on and think, oh, when I was feeling good and I was on top of the world, this is what I was doing regularly.
Yes.
And then as things are getting shittier, you can look back at that and think, yeah, that's what I need to do.
Yeah. Just to expand on that, definitely, you gotta do the things that then make you happy. And if you don't know what those are because for whatever reason you're in a deeper slump, get curious and think about the things that might make you happy, because it's a better start than being in a sad slump. I think for me was at one point I tried to understand why I was in a sad slump for so long that I was just digging a bottomless hole. That instead of I didn't necessarily need to understand it in its entirety. I just needed to understand that I was sad and then move on. Because what I ended up doing was wallowing that I was sad.
Staying in it longer than you needed.
Yeah, I didn't need to fucking know my past, and I didn't need to dig as deep as I needed to dig deep. I just knew that I was sad for this event that triggered something. Now do the things that make you happy, Marwan. Because it's dangerous. It's dangerous once you start, because then you start to get addicted to that feeling as well, subconsciously. For me, I was waking up looking to get sad almost, which is so unnatural for me. But there were trigger points outside of me that were also not helping me. But how do you stay positive? That's always a common question. I think for me, can I go? I think for me, positivity is not the start point. Acceptance is the start point. Reason being, if you're always looking to be positive, you can go into this area where the positivity becomes almost toxic because you're not
authentic.
And authentic, and you're not seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not actually maybe addressing the issues why you have to keep asking yourself, I need to be more positive, I need to be more positive. You got to, I think acceptance is the first point. Accepting it for what it is. It is neither good or bad, it is what it is. And then consciously choosing to take action on the positive side of it. But you've got to see both sides of the spectrum. You've got to see the polarities. Otherwise you're missing half of the picture.
Yeah, I think you don't always stay positive because, again, I think if you were always to stay positive, you're, like you said, not fully accepting other emotions or other things that are going on for you. So, like, you will have good days and bad days, but I think it's always trying to have that lens of optimism. So even when things are going shitty or not working out, it's still trying to look for that silver lining or the highlight of it or the low light of it. Like, as much as it can be easy when you're like, oh, fuck, this has gone wrong or this has happened and oh, this has ruined my day. Is still trying to be like, oh, well, it could have been, not always, because I think sometimes we can get too caught up in that, like, oh, things could be worse, and therefore invalidating what we're going through.
Yeah, that's the thing, you don't want to invalidate anything, and the negative parts are just as important because it lets you know that, hey, this thing hurt, I'm going to, and when it comes up again, you can be like, okay, I know that this thing hurt, so I don't need to do it again.
Yeah.
But if you invalidate or you don't put any awareness on the negative side of things, how will you ever fucking learn?
Yeah. I think for, again, just different people that I follow that appear to be just always positive 24/7, and people think, oh, they must never have a bad day. Like they say they always do have bad days, but it is just their outlook is then always trying to, you're not, like you said as well, not wallowing in it as well. You're like, okay, this shit's happened, deal with that, process that, accept it, move on. Yeah,
I definitely lean more on I accept more than I am positive. It's that I choose to then be positive after accepting the bigger picture.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
What was your biggest worry 5 years ago? Do you still feel about it at this minute?
5 years ago, I was 23. I think my biggest worry then, because I'd finished uni at 21. I was back working in my hometown. Had a very good job, very good boss, very good pay, and I was just super comfortable and felt myself getting a little bit complacent to the point that I was like, oh, if I don't make a change or do something, I will still be here in like 10, 15 years time because it was just so good. So my biggest worry was that I'd be stuck or type thing or in my hometown, and that's when I was 25, I think. 25, when I moved here for something different. So I guess no, it doesn't worry me, but there's still a part of me that still feels there's other parts of the world that I want to experience, and I just don't ever want to feel stuck, I guess. That's my thing. Don't ever want to get too comfortable and complacent. Like, I always like a challenge. So, yeah.
Cool. I am 30 next month, so I would have been 25. My biggest worry was, I remember this very clearly, I hit that quarter life crisis, mainly because I had a best friend that I was living with, and he was just a go-getter, and he would always ask like, yo, what are you going to get up to with your life? You know, and he was just always pushing himself, and it was so good to live with Jay. I absolutely love him. I learned so much lesson from him. My biggest worry 5 years ago was that I wasn't going to amount to anything. I knew at the time that I was not living up to my potential. I was comfortable. I was relying on my talent, but I wasn't sharpening my skills. I was getting by based on what I naturally knew anyway, which is average, which was average. And it was easy.
Yeah.
It was easy. And do I still feel about that at this minute? No, I don't. Turning 30 will be my third year in a row where I've legitimately, genuinely can say I am proud of myself. Because from 25 to 28, 29, from 25 to 27, like I was still in that slump. I just couldn't figure it out. I don't know what it was, and the difference between 28 to 30 now is I've just become more conscious of things, of me, I know my choices. I know what I'm doing, in a sense, more than I did when I was 25.
Yeah.
This is, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Not because of the achievements, but because of the consciousness that I have built. I got to know myself better.
Yeah.
What life lesson, this is the last one, what life lesson did you learn the hard way?
I think for me, life lesson I learned the hard way was probably that you're more than your body. And it probably took me going through my eating disorder that, that helped me eventually, in the end, realise that it really doesn't matter whether you're a size 8, size 10, size 12, that like if you're genuinely a good person, your friends and people closest to you will accept you as you are and won't really care. But obviously when you're caught up in all of that, you do think that your entire self-worth is based on what size you are, and the leaner you are, the better you'll be. So yeah, I guess I learned that the hard way.
So the outcome that you got out of it was that you're more than your body. What was the cost?
Probably almost my life. Yeah.
If I was the time wizard and I was like, okay, Sinead, we can go all the way back and you can remedy that, would you take it all back?
Probably not.
Because it shaped the beautiful person that you are today, right? And now you're in a position where you can help others. And that is your superpower.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's shaped, not only how I now view health and nutrition and exercise, but definitely helps me have that, I guess, next level of empathy for other people that are going through a similar thing. And I find that, has been equipped me to help people in similar situations. So, and that's a lot of perspective that I wouldn't have got otherwise. Like, I think I would have never fully understood all of that if I hadn't have gone through that myself. So, yeah.
Awesome. For me, what life lesson did you learn the hard way? First of all, I think the greatest lessons come at the greatest cost. If it's worth learning for life, it's going to cost you a lot. It's going to cost emotion, it's going to cost time, it's going to be hard, you know. For me, the life lesson I learned the hard way was, don't fall in love with the idea of love, or don't fall in love with the potential. Accept it for what it is. Do you miss the person, or do you miss the idea that you have of the person in your head? Because those are two complete different things. And going back to when I was sad and wallowing, that was why I was wallowing. I had this expectation that I was never ever going to achieve. That wasn't real. And the more time passed where I didn't achieve it, the sadder I got. So the life lesson I learned was, understand the difference between what it is and what you think it is.
Yeah.
And if I could go back in time and learn that, I'd go through that again, because now I can compartmentalize that in my head, and that has helped me right now in my personal and professional life, you know. Helps me be detached from things and accept things for what they are, and just keeps me chill. Keeps me chill. I can feel that there's not much load on my back in my backpack, you know. Just the important things. My career, my relationships, the responsibilities I have from day to day, and nothing else, really.
Epic.
That concludes our 50th episode. Emotional.
Wowee, Oof.
If you've been listening for this long, thank you so much for joining us. As you know, we have a plethora of episodes with amazing, incredible people. And if you've been on this journey throughout the whole 50, wow, thank you so much. It honestly means the world to us. We started this because we just wanted to have conversations with people. And what better way was to record it and share these amazing conversations. And now we are here, and we look forward to carrying this on, meeting more people and connecting with you all.
to the next 50 and maybe the 50 after that. So
onwards and upwards. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Peace.